Hey guys, it's Damien.
And I'm Kenady, and we're so glad that you joined us here today. Now, if this is your first time, we love to give tips and advice to help you cultivate a healthy relationship from A to Z. Now, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. You can also follow us on Instagram at Damien and Kenady. That's Damien and spelled out Kenady. So, Damien, tell us what we're talking about today.
Kenady, this is the last video in 2019. And so going into 2020, we want to give the best relationship advice for 2020 and beyond. Yeah. So for the first tip for the best advice of 2020 for relationship goals is to humble yourself. Kenady, there was a song, I think a couple of years ago, it's like, be humble and sit down. Right? Be humble.
Is it Christian?
I don't know what kind of music it is. But be humble and sit down. We have to humble ourselves. And especially that we hear this all the time, like humble yourself, but you probably don't know how to walk through that process. So we're going to give you 4 things to apply to yourself to humble yourself. Number 1 is don't be selfish. Don't be selfish. I remember a couple months ago, is even in this house, me and Kenady were drinking juices, right? And I was really drinking your juice.
Yeah, your juice.
And something came out of Kenady's belly. I never heard this before, but she was like, my juice. I was like, oh my God, it's just some juice. But
what he failed to mention is that he had about 4 or 5 juices that only he liked. I have one juice that I like. It's Ocean Spray, Cran, Grape. That's it. And so he had his 4 or 5 juices, but he wants to pour a glass of juice from my juice.
So that's what she yelled. Don't be selfish. And we tend to be selfish sometimes, even in marriage. Mm-hmm. But don't be selfish. We have grown up, even out of our mother's womb, as being selfish. But we have to practice on not being selfish. Number 2 is don't try to impress others. And sometimes as individuals, we want to look better than what we are. That means buying the nicest cars, or buying the shoes or the purses if you're a woman, or the nice clothes. And we're trying to impress somebody and keep this lifestyle up that we really can't keep up. And we're going into debt and going into debt. And so that's number 2. Don't try to impress anybody. Be humble.
Because we tend to flex on social media.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, we in debt to our eyeballs. But when we are trying to impress others, we tend to be prideful and boastful. Mm-hmm. And when a lot of times it's not, the truth. But number 3 is think of others better than yourself.
Yeah.
And so even if we might be a CEO or a leader in a high company and making a lot of money, if we see someone else, we should never devalue them and like, oh, look at this person, they just wait tables or whatever. But no, we need to always esteem others better than ourselves. And so when we do that, we can humble ourselves. And it's not about self-harm or putting ourselves down, but it's a way that we can posture our heart to love that person and not think that, oh, we're better than them, and wish and be thankful for the life that we have. And so we should always be grateful, but never think that because we are in a status of where we are, that person is, not more valuable than we are. And number 4 is to take others' interests at heart, not just our own. Yeah. And so especially in relationships, or if you're a leader or a manager, not just only what you want to do, where you want to eat at, or what you want to watch. And so always taking other person's interests as well. And that's a great way that you can humble yourself and care for others.
That's so good. Number two is to open your heart towards serving. Open your heart towards serving. I remember when I was a leader at Fusion, which is a young adult ministry here in Atlanta, a couple of years ago, probably about 4 or 5 years ago, I did an outreach called the Laundromat Takeover. And what we did was take our own money and start paying for people's laundry expense. And a couple months ago, I was just reading through those emails as we were setting up, and come to find out Kenady was actually in my car going to that service outreach.
I've been sitting behind you for many years.
Yeah, you've
not
been
just in church.
you've been stalking me for many years. But what I found out that is that Kenady already had that heart of service. She already opened her heart to service. And that's what one of the things you need to do in 2020 and beyond is to open your heart to service. So one of the questions you can ask yourself today is, where can I serve? Where can I serve? Like, you can serve at your local church, maybe a sexual trafficking organization with kids that are disadvantaged, the local jails. Look, we could go on, but where can you serve today?
And also, when can you serve? I remember after I moved back here from Athens and started my internship, I felt like I didn't have the time to serve. So I was like, I'll serve after I am finished with my internship because I'm really, really busy. But I remember you saying, well, you can commit at least once a month to serve. And so I did do that. And God literally opened up many blessings for me. And he gave me the strength when I felt like I couldn't serve. And so we should never put others in the back burner. And no, we're not saying to burn ourselves out and serving here, there, and there, but you can always sacrifice to serve, whether it's once a month or a quarter, or whatever it is, 30 minutes out of your week or whatever it may be. The time is now. So don't put it off. Don't wait until, next year or, next semester. Do it now. There's something that you can do now.
And when you serve, Kenady, and we found this out, you'll start, God will start unveiling your gifts, your abilities, and your talents, and serving people. And this is a great way to find your purpose in life. What's number 3?
Number 3 is to live right in the dark. Now, it's easy as Christians to live right in the light when people are watching us, and we want to put on this face of, oh, we got it all together, I'm a holy saint and I'm saved and sanctified. But the true measure is living behind the dark when no one is watching, when you're by yourself praying and reading your word and worshiping God, and where people are not able to see that, and where we're no longer boasting about what we're doing, or yeah, I'm serving at this and that, or look at me, I just got this promotion. Though it's not bad to do that, but we again have to humble ourselves, but also know that God is a God who sees the dark. He's in the light and the dark. And so whatever is done in the dark will be brought to the light. So we should hope that what we're doing in the dark is something that we want out in the light. And if it's not, that's something we need to check. We shouldn't be, sinning in the dark and then having our, best Christian face in the light. We should do what we do in the light in the dark, and that's when God will elevate us into the light, and so people can see God's work through us and give him the glory. One
of the things that I was seeing in myself when I was preparing to be a husband is trying to do right things in the dark, and that means not watching pornography anymore. I just started to reading my word more. Another thing is paying my taxes on time and writing the right things in the taxes so I can get the right amount back, and that's doing the right thing in the dark. And other things that you can do is not lie. Those little small lies that you oh, it doesn't matter, nobody's watching. Start doing the right things in the dark, and I believe that God will start elevating. And Kenady, what's the last one?
The last one is yield yourself to the will of God.
Yeah.
And so this is huge, especially when we're trying to find ourselves, or the new year's coming and you're wanting to do this adventure, this project. We have to make sure that we are in the will of God and that we are in the right position. And not just everything that is good is of God, and that he wants us to do. And so we really have to make sure we're not wasting our time anymore. Time is of the essence, and Christ is coming back soon. And we need to be in the will of God and not in our own will. And we have to lay that down and give it to him. And so our will becomes his will.
One of the things that we see from couples right now is, and even individuals, is selfish ambition. And this is a place where you're trying to strive for a position, maybe it's in career or business, and you're trying to be so successful that you're willing to step on others to get there. This is our selfish ambition, which is killing relationships and marriages all the time. And so again, you have to humble yourself into God's will and say, God, what do you want me to do? And I want to position myself, because some people are out of position. And when you're out of position, maybe your husband and or wife is in a position that you're not. And so really yield yourself to the will of God, and so you can be in position.
And I think with that, it's so important to, in order to know God's will, we have to spend time with him.
Exactly.
I know a lot of times we're like, Lord, what is my calling? What is my purpose? And we're searching, but we're not seeking the one who gives us purpose and will. And so we have to spend time with him so we can be in that right position. Because when we're out of position, that position that we're supposed to be in is vacant, and the body of Christ is suffering. And we have too many Christians that are out of position, that we're not where we need to be, where God has called us to be. We might be somewhere else that is good, but it's not of God, and it's not using those gifts and talents and allowing God to get the glory in our lives.
One of the things you can tell yourself today is say, not my will, but yours be done. Not my will, but yours be done. Now let's review real quick. Let's review. Remember to humble yourself, but right now, take the H off of humble and just put it to the side. Remember to open your heart towards serving. Now, take the O off of that sentence and put it to the side. Now, Kenady said, live right in the dark. Take the L off of that and put it to the side. And then the last one is to yield yourself to the will of God. Take the Y off of that and put it to the side. And when we take those 4 letters, we get holy. That is the best advice we can give you for 2020 and beyond. The best relationship advice we can give you is to live holy. And holy simply means to be set apart. So when you live holy, your husband or wife will be set apart for you. So that is becoming the right one before meeting the right one.
Wasn't that from a book called, what's it? #completely single?
Oh yeah. That was.
And wasn't the author named Damien K.H. Nash?
Yeah, I wrote that book.
Shameless plug.
Yeah. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope you enjoyed the best advice for 2020 for your relationships. And we hope you have a happy new year.
Yeah. And we will see you next year.
Again, like, share, and subscribe, and follow us on Instagram at Damien and Kenady, and that's spelled out. My name is Damien Nash.
And I'm Kenady Nash.
And we'll see you next year. Bye.